Most people think unhealthy relationships happen to other people, not to them. I used to believe that too, until I learned how quietly love can turn into control. If you have ever thought about a child you love, a close friend, or a partner who once felt like home, you already know how powerful this topic is. Love is not just a feeling, it is the lens through which we see the world. It shapes our choices, our fears, our hopes, and even our sense of self. And yet, despite how central love is to our lives, there is something deeply strange about it. We are almost never taught how to love. We are expected to just know, to figure it out along the way, to improvise. And that is where so much pain begins. Stay with me, because the most important insight is waiting for you at the very end. I have spent many years working with large organizations, living in different countries, helping women grow professionally and personally. I have coached, mentored, listened, and observed. And what I see today worries me deeply. This is a difficult moment for women all over the world. Expectations are high, pressure is constant, and support is often missing. And I feel that now is the moment to speak more openly, to reach more people online, and to help women feel free, independent, self confident, and capable of choosing what they truly need, not what society quietly pushes on them. If this conversation resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe. It genuinely helps this message reach those who may need it most. And please stay until the end because the most meaningful part is there. When we think about love, a whole constellation of emotions appears instantly. Joy, hope, admiration, trust, warmth, but also sadness, disappointment, fear. Love carries all of it. There may be no other word in our language that activates such a strong emotional response. And yet, despite its power, we enter relationships completely untrained. We learn how to read and write, how to work, how to behave in public, but not how to love. We learn to make friends. We enter our first romantic relationships. We marry. We become parents, all with the quiet hope that we will somehow figure it out along the way. The uncomfortable truth is that very often we hurt the people we love, not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it is subtle, a sharp comment disguised as a joke, a passive-aggressive remark, a controlling question asked under the mask of care, a quick glance at a partner's phone, a harsh word to a child about school or behavior. Most of us have been on both sides of this dynamic. We have been hurt, and we have hurt others. This does not make us monsters. It makes us human. But here is where the conversation becomes more serious. Many people believe that truly harmful relationships are rare, extreme, and obvious. Something that happens somewhere else, to someone else, not to them. We instinctively reject words like cruelty or abuse because they feel too heavy, too dramatic. We tell ourselves that those things happen in other families, other cultures, other lives. And yet, the reality is that we live in a world full of harmful relationships. We just call them by softer names. We normalize them, we excuse them, we fail to recognize them. I work with an organization founded by parents whose daughter was lost due to violence from a former partner. Looking back, they realized that there were warning signs long before the tragedy. Behaviors that were explained away as jealousy, immaturity, passion, alcohol, stress. No one named them for what they were, and the parents later said something heartbreaking. If someone had talked about this earlier, if someone had explained the warning signs, their daughter might still be alive. That is why this conversation matters, and that is why awareness is not optional. It is protective. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming that unhealthy love begins with fear or pain. It does not. It usually begins with intensity, with excitement, with butterflies. The first warning sign is obsession. Obsessive love does not feel dangerous at first. It feels intoxicating. You feel chosen, desired, special. The attention is constant. The connection feels powerful, almost euphoric. But slowly something shifts. The joy becomes pressure. The affection becomes expectation. The attention becomes surveillance. You notice the constant messages, the constant calls, the need for immediate replies, even when the other person knows you're busy. Declarations of love that arrive too fast, too intensely, too early. Your body often notices before your mind does. You feel tense instead of calm, watched instead of supported. The most important thing to remember is this: it is not how a relationship begins that matters most, but how it develops. From the very beginning, your comfort matters. Ask yourself, do I feel free to breathe here or do I feel controlled? The second warning sign is isolation. This one is particularly dangerous because it hides so well behind romance. At the beginning of a relationship, wanting to spend all your time together feels normal, even expected, but isolation creeps in quietly. Friends appear less often, family visits are delayed or cancelled. Your partner questions your relationships, dismisses your friends, suggests that your family does not understand you. You may hear things like, they are against us, or they are trying to sabotage what we have. Over time, your world shrinks, and that is the point. Healthy love does not require isolation. Love cannot exist without independence. Two people can be deeply connected and still maintain friendships, routines, interests, and support systems outside the relationship. If your life becomes smaller instead of richer, that is not love, that is control. The third sign is extreme jealousy. A small amount of jealousy is human. It can even be a signal of care. But extreme jealousy is something else entirely. It shows up as constant suspicion, endless questions about where you are and who you are with, monitoring your social media, accusations without evidence, refusal to accept your explanations. Extreme jealousy is rooted in fear and possession, not affection, and it escalates over time. The fourth warning sign is contempt. This is where words begin to wound. Conversations that were once light become heavy, humor becomes cruel. Your partner may mock you, embarrass you, or intentionally push your insecurities. When you express that something hurts, you are told you are too sensitive, that you are overreacting, that it is your problem. Contempt erodes self-worth. A loving partner protects your dignity, they do not attack it. The final sign is emotional extremes, constant cycles of conflict and reconciliation. Everything is either wonderful or unbearable. Explosive arguments followed by dramatic apologies, hurtful statements followed by promises that it will never happen again. This emotional roller coaster conditions you to accept instability as normal. You become so busy surviving the highs and lows that you stop asking whether the relationship is safe. The more of these signs are present, the more dangerous the situation becomes. Many people say, just leave, walk away. But it is not always that simple. Ending a relationship can be the most dangerous moment, especially if there is fear or control involved. Safety matters, support matters, professional guidance matters. And this conversation is not only about romantic relationships. These patterns appear in friendships, families, and workplaces too. Learning to recognize unhealthy love helps you reevaluate all your relationships. You may begin to understand why certain connections drain you, why some interactions leave you exhausted. You may even recognize moments where your own behavior crosses boundaries. Awareness is the first step, not perfection. Awareness. There is good news. Healthy love is not complicated. It is built on respect, kindness, patience, and honest communication. These are not mystical traits, they are skills, and skills can be learned. I work with these ideas every day and I still make mistakes. Recently, overwhelmed and exhausted, I snapped at my children. I used shame and extremes instead of calm. And my oldest looked at me and said, that is not love. In that moment, I felt something powerful, pride, because he recognized a boundary and named it. That is what I want for all of us. The ability to recognize when love becomes harmful, the courage to speak up, the wisdom to choose better. Love may be driven by instinct and emotion, but the ability to love well is a skill, one we can develop, practice, and improve over time. And if you take nothing else from this, remember this. Love should make your world bigger, not smaller, calmer, not more frightening. And you deserve that kind of love, starting with yourself.